So contracting, it's not for everybody, mainly because there's some stuff that is different to having a regular job than contracting. And we're going to go through those differences, and you can decide whether contracting is for you. If so, I can help you with that, make that transition. Or maybe this is enough information for you to decide that contracting definitely isn't for you, and you want to stay within the permy roles. And either choice is a good choice as long as it's the right one for you. So, what's the deal? Why be a contractor? And for me, it's all about choice. And choice falls into the values of freedom and independence. I like to fantasize sometimes, I know, right? About maybe having a small holding where I can grow all my own food and be completely self sufficient. Realistically, I don't think that's ever going to happen, but that kind of gives you a steer on my mind on things. I want to be useful and I want to be independent at the same time. But you live on a big planet. There's lots of other people on this big planet, and we do great things when we're in teams and when we work together. So that kind of has a conflict in there. Like everything in life, there's always two sides to a thing, and one is like, let's be fiercely independent, and the other one is, but we need to work as a team in order to achieve great things. So it's a mixture. And so as a contractor, I get the choice of what teams to work with. I get the choice of what products to deliver, and can turn work down if it doesn't fit into what I think is going to create a great solution or a great answer to a big problem. Likewise, I can seek out work. And so for me, it's about choice of what I can do. But there's some downsides to that. Like I said, there's two sides to everything. And one of the biggest downsides is if health is an issue. And if it is, I'm sorry to hear that. But some people don't have great health, and others have super health. If you're the type of person that has a sick day quite often, then contracting is probably not for you, because contractors don't get sick days. Or rather, I mean, you can't help being sick when you're ill. If you ate something a bit dodgy and that dodgy thing doesn't want to stay in your body anymore. Let's not dwell on that image. But you can have a sick day. But as a contractor, you only get paid when you're delivering stuff, when you're delivering time or software or documentation or whatever it is you happen to specialize in. If you're not delivering that, then as a contractor, you don't get paid. So don't get sick days is not quite true, but you don't get paid for sick days. Whereas as an employee, you are expected to be supported by your employer, and if you're not ill, then they can still pay you as much as they like. Hopefully it's your normal rate, your salary that you get every month, and the government will top that up for statutory sick pay, which is very much. And anyone that's been on statutory sick pay will tell you it's not very much. And as a contractor, through your business, you can claim that. But like I said, it's not going to be anywhere near what your regular invoicing day rate is going to be. And holidays. I love holidays. You ask anyone that works with me, how much I love holidays. It's that time out from what you're doing in order to experience something else. And hopefully holidays for you allow you to create experiences that you can remember because of the people you holidayed with, or because of the places you visited and the people and the things you saw and met there. But again, you're not delivering stuff, so that's not a billable day. That goes for statutory holidays as well. May Day, Bank Holiday, Easter. All of those are statutory bank holidays. And again, unless it says in your contract, which it might do, they're not normally billable days. so you can bill the client for that. Take some time off, recuperate, sharpen the saw instead. But what it does give you is it gives you a better structure or choices about what you can do about other aspects, like variable management. I wish I knew what I meant, but given that we're talking about finances, as a contractor, your income isn't always predictable. Salary, you'd like to think that you're going to be paid by your employer every month. Sometimes hiccups happen where maybe you don't get paid at all that month. That's quite rare, but it happened to one of the county councils last month. Or maybe there's another mistake in payroll and you get paid twice, which is nice until you have to give it back. But as a contractor, your income can be variable for different reasons. Different number of billable days in a month. You've taken some holiday there. Or perhaps it's more than you expected. Perhaps you delivered a project early and in your contract it says you're eligible for a bonus. You outsold yourself and you excelled at delivering that project. But that's the money coming into the business, which isn't the same as the money that you take out of the business. And there's a gap there, and as the manager of business, you're obligated almost, to decide how much money comes out of the business, where it goes. Does it go to your pension? Does it go to your bank account, so you pay your bills? Or does it go somewhere else? Being a contractor also gives you independence. Let me ask you a question. Do you like to be managed? Now, personally, I don't like to be managed in a micromanagey type way. I want somebody to say, this is what would make my day. This is what would make me happy. This is what problem I want you to solve. And then just leave me to get on and solve it. Leave me and my team. Great things happen in teams. Leave me and my team to get on and solve that problem. And then I can come back to you and say, we've solved that problem. Does that solve it for you? Or did we miss the mark slightly? Hopefully you're not going to do that at the end, because constant feedback to customers. And that's why I like agile method. It gives you that room to maneuver rather than have static stuff at the start, which may be right or it may be wrong, and you end up with something that might be right and might be wrong. Have that constant improvement in the middle. But allow me to deliver what you said you wanted and come back to you with a demo and drive it that way, rather than being micromanaged by tasks and stuff. Another downside, however, to contracting is training. Twofold. So as an employee, your employer might choose to bolster your skills by sending you on training. And depending on how that training is delivered, that can usually mean taking time out of your work. It might even mean going to a location that's not anywhere near your work or your home, on-site training somewhere. And then that might even involve travel and a hotel stay. And all of that cost is picked up by your employer. Now, as a contractor, that's no different. They are allowable expenses if they're directly related to services you're providing. There. And the company can pay for those expenses. They don't come out of your personal bank account, they come out of the business bank account. However, whilst you're not delivering services, as I said already many times today, you're not delivering services, therefore it's not billable. So your company won't be invoicing training. So you've got to balance that with how much value you're going to get from the training versus how much you're going to lose in earnings that day. And usually, for the right level of training, it's worthwhile doing the training, because IT stands still. We need to help with stuff. Private health insurance. And this is a curious one. Why do I say that? Well, in your employee contract, be it with your contractor company or even with your employer, they can offer you private health insurance. And some employers do and some employers don't. Which means as a contractor, you also have that. As a contractor, your business can pay for private health insurance or it can choose not to pay for it. But it's an additional cost included in your day rate. It's an additional cost to the business. So again, it's a choice. It's up to you whether you want it or not. And holidays. You are flexible on the number of holidays that you can take. Now, I know that in recent times, a lot of IT companies or companies within the tech field have been quite flexible over flexible over holidays. And what this means is essentially you do not have a cap on holidays. Now, the UK government specify as an employee, you must receive at least 28 days holiday. It doesn't say whether that needs to be paid or not, but it does say that many days off as minimum. It doesn't set a maximum, should it? And as a contractor, you can have as many days off as you like, with the caveat of a few years ago, I took some time out to write a book, that one there, and I was doing a 4-day week. So okay, not strictly holiday as such, but it gave me an extra day a week in order to do stuff like write a book, do some training, and it was on a regular cadence. But if you wanted to do that as a permanent employee, you'd have to ask your manager or HR to take the day off. And I have that allocation against the number of days off that I'm allowed in my employment contract. But as I alluded to when I clicked onto the slide just now, some of the newer tech disruptor type businesses, they don't specify a top end number of days off either, because most people like working. If you're in a job that you love, then why would you take time out to do that other than to do training or experiences, family? So the number of days that people will take is kind of limited. It's a bit like an all-you-can-eat restaurant. The restaurant knows that people's bellies are only so big, and so there's only so much they can eat. So even though it's an unlimited buffet, and eat as much as you can, there is in reality a can. And the same for holidays. Whilst it's unlimited in theory, there's still only an upper limit that you could take because get paid. We all want to be useful, and if you enjoy your job, then you want to keep doing it. Most of all, finances. As a contractor, it gives you choices about what to do with your finances. So I know a contractor who didn't need much to live on in England, and so as they were legal resident, but they had family abroad, and so they would then send their money to a company abroad, and doing that gives you tax efficiencies. You could choose that route, but also it gives you the choices of whether you want to keep money in your company. You want the company to invest in real estate, actual. You want the company to invest in the stock market, or do you want the company to invest in both of those in a kind of roundabout way by directly contributing to a pension? Or you can just take all the money out, applicable taxes, and have that money in your bank account and then do what you want with it. Buy expensive toys, pamper yourself, holidays, whatever else. But being a contractor gives you those choices of where that money stays in the company and invested, or comes out of the company and is paid with. Being a contractor also gives you independence. So I mentioned training earlier, and personal growth is part of that. Now, don't get me wrong, some forward-thinking companies can also support you in it. What do I mean by personal growth? Well, I mean like doing a YouTube channel, LinkedIn Live like this. Or perhaps you like to share your knowledge and stand up and do speaking events. Or maybe you've got another side project that you'd like to spend a bit more time on. And so as a contractor, you get the choices to do those, which you might or might not have permanent. And training, we spoke about training a lot. Give you choices about what to train on. Maybe you want to change careers, and training might be tricky for you as an employee. The contractor, whilst the company can't claim it as a direct expense, like I said earlier, that HMR speak about it must be related to the services you do supply, you could have the extra funds in your bank account to then pay for the training if you change direction. And it all comes down to choices, but choices do come with the consequences. One of the choices leads you into compliance. Whilst these choices and decisions are available, they also come with a responsibility, and you need to report certain choices to certain organisations. HMRC for the Tax UK organisation. So we need to make sure that we comply with the rules and regulations of the country we're in. Also gives you choices of cash flow. As I've mentioned multiple times already this afternoon, about cash flow is in the company and cash flow in personal bank account. And those are two different choices. How much you invoice for your day rate versus how much you're paying yourself. How often do you invoice? Are your accounting records up to date? When is your payday? When do you want to get paid? Do you want to get paid weekly? Do you want to get paid monthly? Or like me, do you want to get paid quarterly? And it also gives you choices in the contract. So you can choose which contracts you go for. Is it interesting and exciting, or even a worthwhile, in your opinion, project to pursue? But if you do think you are not sure whether you're ready to be a contractor or not, you can head on over to our quiz at devops-contractor.scoreup.com on the screen there, and I dare say it'll be in the comments as well in a moment. And you can run that quiz, answer a few questions, and it will tell you how far along, how prepared you are to make the leap into contracting. And if you've got any questions for me, I'd be delighted to answer them if you pop them into the comments below, and we'll get back to you, because I know that there's a load of questions around this, and I'm here to help you. So thanks for spending your lunchtime with me today, and I shall see you very soon.